university or not? This is the question in the mind of so many young people. And recently I was at a school giving a talk, and this was uppermost in people's mind. So my response to that, before I give my response, I think your upbringing, your parents, your family life, and the social factors around you has an effect on that. And in terms of the parents, you have to respect their opinion. And I think the right opinion is when the parents know their children and to see what it is right for them, and not to be too precious about their own ideas of education and life, and not to be precious too much about living their own dreams in their children. So putting that to one side, my take on this is this. Certain subjects you do need to go to university, because you can't become a doctor unless you go to a medical school. Other things, however, you might say you can't become a lawyer unless you've got a degree in law, so you have to go to law school. But even at that level, I would argue go and work in a legal firm to experience what life is as a solicitor or attorney, and then decide whether this is the course for you or not. As a young person, years make a lot of difference. If you're 18, you compare yourself to 18-year-olds. If somebody is 20, that they look old. So that's something that you have plenty of time for, and don't pay too much attention that if you go and work somewhere for 1 year, 2 years, and you come out at the age of 20 and go to university. These days, more and more mature students are there, and as a 20-year-old, this last thing I would label a 20-year-old is maturity anyway. So, but I remember when in my course there were people who were slightly older than me. So now there must be more people who are older than your average 18 or 19 when you start the university. So you've got plenty of time in front of you. The most important thing is to ascertain what's your calling and what are you cut out for. The sooner you get to that, the better it is and the easier your life becomes. So just going back to the law degree, in fact, I know people who've gone to and had their law degree and go working for a firm, and they realize that's not for them. Whereas probably had they gone and worked before, spending 3 years and getting the debts and all the other things that goes with that these days, would have been a better idea. Now, there's one thing that I would probably say in support of universities, which has nothing to do with universities or academically, is the social life and the social connections, which is something that could be cherished and valued for the rest of your life. And I guess unless you go to work in an organization which has got hundreds of people at your age, your position in life, you won't necessarily have the social skill, social connections, social life. So there is an advantage in having that life of a university life. So the other thing is, if you go to university, I suggest that obviously try to go into something that you have some interest in. Not necessarily because you've had great grades in something, because grades are for academic. It's just an indication. So find out what you want to do and choose a subject that you like to do. There could be some psychometric testing one can do, but nothing beats working somewhere. So once you decide there's an appropriate course for you, my suggestion is make sure there is an exchange program to another country, that you experience life in another country. Number two is if that country's language is different to yours, that would be an advantage. So to go somewhere, although the course would be done in your language, but to go somewhere that the culture and language is different to your own. So you're experiencing the world. And then the third thing is to have a meaningful job during university time. By meaningful job, I don't mean stacking the shelves in the supermarket or working in a bar at night, at weekends. So if you do those three things, your time at university is much more fruitful. And you've learned and you've experienced the world, you've earned some money, and you've traveled abroad and widen your horizons. So that's in terms of the university. But in my mind, nothing beats working. Then the quicker you can work, the better it is. Not least in order to eliminate what you shouldn't be doing and what you don't like to be doing. And people know that the results and the exams and your courses and what you come out of university, when you're young, your A-level results are the most important thing, and then your university degree becomes more important thing. But from an employer's point of view, the person is the most important thing. And the person is totally different to qualifications. Of course, qualifications, if you want to go and do engineering and you've got a degree in engineering, it would help. But if you go and do engineering, get a degree in engineering, do a job as an engineer, and then realize actually that's not you, which is my life, then you think, okay, could it have been better to have gone into something else? I don't know, because I am valuing the education and what you learn. There's value to be attached to education. But the bigger value is doing something that you actually are natural at. And in my case, it was late 20s that I realized that I need to be moving more into the front as opposed to being an engineer, which was my background, hardware, software, electronics engineer. And now there are apprenticeship and courses that you can go and learn on the job, get paid, and learn. So the quicker you go to the world of work, the better it is.